Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Not Just Football with Cam Heyward. You know me, you know Hayden, and you know the score of our last game. And it wasn't a pretty sight. Not going to sugarcoat it. The Bills game was pretty disappointing, but we get a chance to talk about it. And I know Hayden's been dying to talk about it. So shoot.
Dying, I wouldn't say. I mean, we have to address it. Dying,
Yes.
I would not say. It was a tough day, Monday at 4:30. We can get to the rescheduling after that. We think I think me and you both think the game should have been played Sunday at 1. It would have been better, I think, for you guys. But what do you got for me? I mean, there's a lot here, and I think I should take on the refs, and you shouldn't have to do that. But we can let's cover the game first.
Yeah, the game. Can't spot anybody points. Going to that game. I think we were, was it 21-0 at the end of the first?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And, starting the game slow, not making them settle for field goals. I think the turnovers were definitely a deciding factor and changed the game a little bit. You go down there, it was 14-0. Mason gets picked off with an out route, but you get points right there. You kind of settle in, and then we had a chance. We cut it to one score. Defense didn't get off the field. We let penalties play a factor, and lack of penalties play a factor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think overall there were some chances we could have had, and we didn't execute enough to really win that game.
Yeah, no, I mean, spotting them 14 points off turnovers, normally, and if you lose the turnover battle and you lose that, you're going to lose the game. Just all around tough game. Weather, how was the weather? Was the weather any factor for you?
No, the weather was fine.
No, weather was fine. What about the snowballs?
You still snowballs. Yeah, they hit a couple of my teammates. The one I was like, dang, this is ridiculous. They actually hit our team chaplain, Pastor Kent Chevalier. They threw I always saw it was a snowball thrown and it was going, and then Pastor Kent has a bald head and it landed smack dab on top of his head, and I was like, oh. And he turned around and I was like, next time you just need to say, I rebuke you. But, in that moment, I was just, you're not really thinking that. But I thought any of those fans should have been, they kept putting it on the screen. You will be thrown out. You will be lose your tickets. Nothing ever came of it. The fans were still doing the entire time. But, it's just what it is.
Yeah, I don't think they were ever getting kicked out. I would say if you got a bald head, maybe wear a hat. Right. I mean, it's got to be cold out there. The wind's got to be blowing. I mean, that thing. I would say, too, though, with the turnovers, it really did seem like that played a big role in it. Now, I'm going to say this, though, too, and this is me saying this. The refereeing in that game was tragic. Okay. And if Roger Goodell's got to find somebody, send it to me. The refereeing was tragic in that game. There are multiple plays in that game. Late in the game, the George Pickett's 4th and 5 should have been a pass interference. I don't even know if it's a block in the back or unnecessary roughness on Joey Porter that got him hurt. Hopefully he's okay. How is that not a block in the back on a crucial 3rd down? Multiple missed holdings on the Josh Allen run. And we can also talk, what did you see? Is there a fake slide there or no?
You definitely see him slow down to, alert the guy that he was going to slide. But, man, I don't know what you're supposed to do as a defender, whether you know it or not. It's like that happens, and then look at the ramifications of it, because then Miles Jack's takes it in his hands, and he's like, I have to go for him because he's not giving himself up all the time. So I think we look to protect quarterbacks and we look to do this, but man, you're taken away from the game when you do that, and it's mind-blowing the amount of penalties and penalties not thrown in that game. But you hit it right on that. You hit the nail, and you were correct in your approach.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at it. How do you defend a guy like Josh Allen if he One play, he looks like he's going to slide, then he breaks off 50 yards. And I see some guys to me on the field felt like they thought he was going to slide because I think they pulled up and thought he was going down. And then he keeps up and keeps running. And then you're right, fourth quarter, you guys need to stop. He slides. Miles Jack is committed. And there's a penalty.
Yeah.
How can the NFL address this to where I understand we need to protect quarterbacks? I realize this, but there's also got to be a way you got to help the defense out a little bit, right?
Well, it's like that, and then you get these quarterbacks that act like they're going out of bounds, but then they skirt up the sideline and they add more yards. But it's like, man, as a quarterback, you should be trying to go get down as soon as possible. If you're a defenseless player, you know, I don't think, you know, we look at these quarterbacks like they're different from a running back. You don't see any running back sliding. And if a quarterback, you know, turns on the gears and is running full tilt, he shouldn't be given the clearance to just make a decision right then and there to either, you know, trick the ref or trick the team. I think it's a load of crap.
Yeah, and I mean, Josh Allen's already a hard guy to bring down. So now you add in the fact that the refs help that a little bit. And also just such an advantage for running quarterbacks. I really hope the NFL addresses that. I also think too, and I understand Josh is more established than Mason. Mason took several shots to the head late, pushed down that I saw multiple calls throughout the weekend that he just was not getting. And I mean, I think they had 2 total penalties in that game. I'm not saying the penalties are why you guys lost. You can't turn it over twice on the road. You can't start out. It was 14-0 at the end of the first. You can't do that. But the officiating helped. I don't care what anyone says. The officiating helped take that game to where it was. I know you don't want to hear excuses, but I'm going to say it for you so no one can find you. This is Hayden Walsh saying the officiating was tragic in that game.
Yeah, it was tragic, but that's your opinion, and I support your opinion.
All right, so let's go after the game. So this has been tough for me because I didn't get to talk to you directly after the game, and then I read about you are either we're back at this again. You're retiring, or you're taking a pay cut. Can I just ask? And I understand I don't do this. Why is the need to ask that question 10 minutes after a playoff loss?
I don't know. I could literally talk about the week before where I got asked the same question, and I'm like, shouldn't my focus be on trying to win a playoff game and trying to get to the playoffs? You know, I think media has a right to ask whatever they want, but I just think why would I want to answer a question right after a game? You know, that wouldn't be smart of me to jump to any conclusion. You know, I like to look and see where my body's at. I look and see what I can do. But you know, it's annoying. It really is annoying to be asked the same damn question time after time, and it's like, man, like, you know, they make comments about what they think's going to happen when they don't even know what's happening. You know, there were comments made when they were saying I was going to come back from my injury or when I was going to come back. And, you know, these false reports and what they think should happen, you know, it sounds like a bunch of people on the couch just trying to make up a story. You know, I love playing football. I want to play football. But why can't I just decide? Why do you have to keep bringing it up? I literally got asked that right after the game. And then the next day it was like, has your mind changed at all of what's going to happen? I'm like, bro, it wasn't even 24 hours. And then people want to text me, which feels very unprofessional because they think they should have a say-so of what should happen or they should get a jump on anything. And that's not just my situation. It's talking about Coach T. It just feels like there's a lot of, you know, jumping to conclusions or, you know, this should happen. And it's not fair to the player or the person going through it.
I'm glad you brought up Coach T. I thought you should have had his approach. Just walk off the podium, man. What you did your availability and just walk off the podium. Obviously, I think has announced he's coming back next year, but
yeah.
Him another one receiving those questions at 10 minutes after a loss. It's a very emotional time. The season is over. Any decision you make then is just is not rational at all. You're just emotionally.
Well, the more annoying part about it is he's never once said he wanted to retire.
Mhm.
And it was all about a speculation from another reporter because, his wife likes LA and all this other crap. Like, that's not true reporting. That's just, throwing stuff out there just to see if it sticks. I wouldn't want to answer any more questions about that either. Like, why do we have to continue to keep making up stuff? If he retires, he retires. But like, why is there so much speculation? Why do you need to jump to conclusions? Oh, I know why, because you just want to sell clicks.
Well, it is. It's clicks. I mean, if you look at every show, it feels like there's something about you guys or Tomlin. What's his future? Where's he going? And it's like there's a bunch of openings, and he's not available. He has a year left on his contract, and like you said, he's never said anything that he didn't want to be here. He's never even acted in a way that made you think he didn't want to be here to finish out his contract, right?
Yeah, you know, I've talked to him multiple times, but I won't share those conversations because those are between me and him. Um, but I just hate how, like, because one guy said one thing that didn't concern him, that it wasn't coming from Mike T's mouth at all, that now everybody jumped to conclusions and said, "Oh, this is happening. Oh, yeah, the Steelers are definitely gonna, look to, find somebody else." It felt very. Oh, I just, I get tired talking about it because it's just like, man, why are we talking about this when you should be focused on your opponent before the game, and then after the game, you're not being sensitive or really focusing in on what was done this year and what was played in that game.
All right, so we're 3 days out. Are you retiring or no?
I'm not retiring. I just, like, like, you know, I hate to be blunt about it, but I'm not retiring, and like I'm just like I would like to get my body healthy, dude. I just played an entire season on one freaking leg where I could barely run for half of the season. You know, um, you know, it was cool to come back and stuff, and I get that, but like you don't understand what you deal with when you play a full game, and then it's like your body goes into shock, and it's like, what the hell did you just try to put me through? Like my groin was mad at me the entire season. And you know, I wanted to be out there. I wanted to be a part of this team. And like I bust my butt, rehab, doing everything. But I gotta let things calm down. You know, screw the people who keep talking about me getting a pay cut. Like, you know, I don't plan on just playing one more season, and I'll say that right here. But I got to let my body heal, and I got to let my body get back to feeling good again. Like, I'm not going through this season doing this stuff again. It's just, it's not fair to my body, not fair to my family for me to do what I did this past year and try to do it for multiple seasons.
I've never actually asked you this, so do you regret coming back as fast as you did? Now, you pushed it. I mean, me and you had conversations where you pushed it hard. But
Hayden,
physically,
you were there.
I was there
when the guy.
I was there.
We laughed at the doctor when he said 12 weeks. And
no, there was one that said done for the year. Okay.
Yeah.
There was.
Yeah.
One where I don't remember who it was, but you had multiple conversations that night. One said done for the year, one said 12 weeks. You said 8 weeks, and I looked at you like you were nuts. No regrets though coming back that fast.
No. I had to do it. I'm not running from that. But it's not like injury and my game falling off a cliff are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
I fully expect when I do play to be playing at a higher level than I played this past year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm falling off a cliff yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more I can do and a lot more I need to do in this game before I retire. And I'm not ready to, write the ending just yet. So, but like, everybody's had a damn opinion about it. And, I'm tired of media people making up stuff about how I look dejected after certain things, or maybe I'm just annoyed at the damn questions sometimes.
Also, you don't take losses well. You're always dejected
Yeah.
after a loss. Like you
Yes.
I've never. If I guess my question is, would they prefer you have been smiling, talking about the future, because that's not how you operate. You know.
And then it would have been Cam Heyward has,
Oh, he
you
didn't
know,
care. Yeah, he's happy. He's just happy to be
he
here.
scoffs at the Steelers or something. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where I fit into that. And like, I try to be respectful of everybody, but it just makes no sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you something about what Diontae Johnson said yesterday. He said, I've been knowing how
Yes.
Mason plays since his rookie year. I kind of had high hopes for him doing what he's doing when he became the starter. Hopefully he gets the job next year and does what he's got to do, but he did a great job in my opinion. So is that Diontae kind of pushing for Mason to be the guy next year?
I don't know. I look at this and I say Mason played a great year. He did some things right when it's time. But we can't play GM. Like, the players have to play, coaches got to coach, and we'll see where we're at. I don't like, Kenny got hurt, and it opened up a window for Mason to play. Mason played well in this time. I don't know what the 2024 Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback is going to look like, but we'll see what happens. They got to duke it out. They got to find out what's going to go on forward. And, I think, there was definitely more passing once Mason got in there. But I think, we were still trying to find what this team was going to look like. You lose an OC in the middle of the year, trying to switch things up. So, I think we got to look who's going to do the best out there, and give the Steelers a chance next year.
Well, I think Mason's a free agent, so if you're going to bring him back, you're going to have to re-sign him. And like you said, you don't like to play GM, but I would at least think, and this is me saying, this is not Cam Heyward. There you go. There has to be somewhat of a competition next year if it's going to be the same quarterback room going in there. So, all right, you said you want to be GM, but if you had to pick an OC, do you have anybody you'd like to be OC?
Hayden Walsh.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'll take less money. I'll take less money than anybody just to do the job. Okay, and I no jet sweeps. I promise.
Yeah. You look out there. There's a guy like Eric Bieniemy who's had a lot of success in Kansas City. A name that's been talked about. I'm not just talking with the Steelers. I'm just talking about offensive coordinators in general. Shane Waldron. What's his name? Brian Slowick. But you don't know. I don't like to play GM, but there's some interesting names out there. We'll see. It's got to be a guy that's going to be able to get a lot of guys involved and lead that group. So, it's going to be interesting.
Well, I think by the end of the year, there's a lot of talent on that offense, right? It's just a matter of getting everybody the ball. And because by the end of the year, to me, the offensive line really picked it up. The two running backs were doing what they do. Georgia Diontae figured it out. I think Pat had a down year, but I think injuries played a role in that too. So a lot of talent there that it should be exciting for a new OC to come in there if it isn't the two guys who are doing it right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of talent there, and it's about marrying that all together and letting that team grow. Letting that side of the ball grow. I think we all see that both sides of the ball have to continue to grow and continue to just keep evolving.
Why should you bet with Caesars Sportsbook? 2 words: Caesars Rewards. Every bet brings you closer to the type of benefits only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, VIP experiences, sports and concert tickets, and more. It's not just an app, it's an empire. All right, let's move on here. Let's no more Steeler talk for right now. Did you watch any football this weekend before your game?
I watched Detroit and the Rams. I caught a little bit of the Cowboys and the Packers game. Eagles game was tough to catch because we were we were in the air as they were playing.
Who were you most surprised about, Cowboys or Eagles losing?
I I think Cowboys, they had that record and not losing at home all season. I think Jordan Love played a phenomenal game. And I think Aaron Jones,
Mhm.
man, every time they ran the ball, it felt like, he was running at 8 yards a clip. So,
Mhm.
but the defense, getting those pick sixes and, really stifling that offensive group, I think that was more surprising than everything.
Well, yeah, you're right. Home game, and also the Eagles had really fallen off a cliff by the end of the year. Started off like 11-1, and I think they lost 5 of their last 6 or something like that. So they were trending down. Dallas had been playing well, but man,
Mm,
Dallas coming up short again. I saw a thing that said Green Bay has more playoff wins in that building than the Cowboys do.
no way.
That's true.
No
They
way.
have more. They have
No way.
more wins at AT&T Stadium than the Cowboys do. Yes, that is true.
How's that possible?
Because they never win in the playoffs there. And I think if you think about it, Aaron Rodgers went there and won, and Jordan Love went there and won. By the way,
Oh,
too,
yeah.
you got to give the Packers some credit, man. I don't know how they've been able to do that at quarterback. It's like the Steeler coaching. How are you able to do that when
Mhm.
you just draft the successor 3 straight times?
Yeah, it's funny because I felt like the last time they had lost was to us, and
Mhm.
then they went on like a big run. But Jordan Love is a guy that they've had a lot of faith in, and they really didn't bat an eye when they had to trade Aaron Rodgers. They kept it moving and allowed them to just play a lot better. And I read one thing that said it's the OC, the offensive staff felt a lot better having Jordan Love than Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers would check everything and they wouldn't know what was going on. So when they had Jordan Love in there, a younger guy, everybody was on the same page and was able to keep moving the ball down the field, and then they could make plays off of plays and set up a lot of stuff instead of all the checking. An experienced quarterback. That's true. They have different ways of thinking, but you look at what they're doing now. It seems like they have a lot of success.
It's interesting. So it's almost like LaFleur has maybe more control with Jordan Love as the quarterback than he did with Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say I've watched the
Exactly.
game with you where you said you do like the way LaFleur calls games, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good OC.
He's got a nice feel for a game. It's like he can get run heavy on you, show you some different packages, but then he knows how to air out the ball. He knows how to find. I really like that Wiley pass he had to the tight end. That was pretty game, big time play because it kind of just it broke the camel's back in that game.
That was the one where there was nobody within like 30 yards of him, right? I don't. How
Yes.
does that happen on a football field? I don't know. All right,
Yeah.
we're gonna do a little. We're gonna do a little look ahead here, divisional rounds. Okay, you're not a gambling man, but if you were,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna put point spreads in here. I want you to tell me now. You've actually played these two teams. Start off here: Texans, Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens a 9.5-point favorite. How do you see that game breaking down?
Man, it's going to be interesting. I think Texans are, a young team, but play a lot older. Um, you know, I would give the edge to the Ravens offense. I think the one thing when you play the Ravens, we play them a lot, just being the AFC North. You're used to those QB reads and playing mobile quarterback like Lamar. But the Texans have a lot of younger guys that, man, they come at you in waves, and that defense is legit. They're going to have to go out there and get after Lamar and have those young legs running after him. But Baltimore's getting Mark Andrews back. They're rested, and so we'll see what happens with 2 weeks off, basically.
Defensively, what's the single most important thing when you want to stop Lamar Jackson?
I think you can't give up easy rushing lanes to him. You gotta have multiple guys to the ball because he's usually making one guy miss. And then I think when you get the opportunities, you got to catch the picks. It can't just be, oh, we bat the ball down. If you're really gonna try and take Lamar out of his game, if you get a chance to catch the ball, you got to catch it.
Okay, you got a score prediction for this one?
I'll go I'll go 24-21
Wow.
Baltimore.
Texans cover. Boom. Check it. All right. Next game. Another big spread here. Packers at 49ers, -9.5. You've played both these teams as well. Green Bay, I think, is a different team now than when you guys played them, but you know how tough San Francisco is to stop. Who you like in this one?
When you look at the 49ers offense, they really have a lot of different parts. You got Christian McCaffrey, Debo, George Kittle, and then you got Ayuk. And so when you have four guys like that you can spread the ball around, it makes it hard to just center on one guy. But I do give the Packers a lot of credit. I think they have a pretty good defense that can mix things up. I think final score would be 24-18.
God, you're calling all these close. My fear on this one is we've seen Green Bay go out there and just get destroyed time and time again. I just worry that's not a good matchup. And like you said, man, Ayuk is so underrated. That guy is awesome and never gets any love because he's on a team with McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle, and all these guys. But he is a stud. And I think Green Bay loses that game 31-17. I think 49ers roll in that thing.
Wow. Well, take your spread then.
Let's go. So you're going Packers at that +9.5. All right, next one. Bucs at Lions. Lions hosting a playoff game for the second straight week. They're 6.5-point favorites. You got to be happy for the city of Detroit, man.
Yeah, I'm happy for both teams in a sense. One, I don't think we give Bowles enough credit what he's done in Tampa Bay. Everybody's always calling for his seat, and it's just like, man, the dude's, without Tom Brady, he's winning his division. So kudos to that. Really happy for what Detroit's doing. They got my guy Tyson Alualu there. He's having a chance to continue to move on in the playoffs. But Jared Goff outplayed Matt Stafford this past week, and it was a fun game to watch. I thought both quarterbacks played really good. But man, Baker is on fire right now, and Baker's making some noise with that group. So they took on the Eagles, beat the Eagles. But it should be a fun game between those two quarterbacks.
All right, who do you like? 6.5. Which way are you leaning?
Give me. I think the Bucs win.
Win outright.
No, I'm lying. Lions are going to win. Lions are going to beat them. Lions are going to win 17-10.
Okay, so the Lions are going to cover. I tell you, though, man, that is a fun matchup. And I'm happy for Bowles, too, because we've seen with Belichick, it's not as easy once you lose Brady, man. It isn't. All right, to the big one. Chiefs at Bills. Mahomes' first road playoff game, and the Bills are 2.5-point favorites. What do you see?
Is there going to be any weather delays?
I have not checked the weather. I think the Sabres game got canceled yesterday, so I think the weather's still bad up there.
Oh.
Yeah, I think.
It didn't get canceled on Saturday. How about that? I think this game it's a pick 'em. It's one of those. Whoever has the ball usually is going to win that game. Last is going to win that game. So I'm looking for, I can see Buffalo winning this game. But it's not going to be easy. I could see the game getting decided by 1 point. It could be, it could be 32-31 Bills.
Wow. So you're leaning Buffalo, though. The question is, the officiating, whose side are they on? Is it Josh Allen or Mahomes? It's going to be a lot tougher this week for them to decide what side they're on. I mean, it's tough. You know what I mean?
Both of them sell calls anyways. So
I know. Well, no, both of them too. Both great players, but I don't think there's ever a play that ends and they don't look at the ref looking for a flag. If they even get nudged in the backfield, they're looking for a flag every time. I mean, and they normally get it. Yeah. So I get why they do it. All right. So you're leaning Buffalo there, though.
I guess for now.
Okay. Oh, well, you can't really change. That's not how this works. We're not going to record again this week, so you're stuck in at Buffalo. We're going to come back and revisit those picks and see how bad you are against the spread. So it's going to be a fun time to see if you have a future after your playing career. which could be this year, right?
Oh,
so you never know.
well, everyone already thinks since I have a podcast anyways that I'm already focused on my
I will
future.
say I did see that this podcast was being used against you as looking ahead. So I apologize for that. I apologize.
Yeah, I can't just talk football. Wow, cool.
No,
act like
you
I'm
didn't
back
know.
there producing and editing. I just don't get it. But okay.
Yeah, you are. You're doing it all. You're producing, editing, you're setting up our lights,
Yeah.
our camera. You're doing it all. So, man, kudos to you, man. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When does the offseason diet start for you? Because I saw a player set something and I want to ask you about this first.
Very soon.
Really?
Very soon.
Not gonna allow yourself to binge, have a couple weeks where you kind of let it go and then you pick it back up?
Yeah. After this season, we're about to start very soon.
Okay. Well, so DJ Moore said his offseason is don't do no workouts. Moore said on the St. Brown's Bro podcast, I drink Mountain Dew, smoke cigars, and then when OTAs come, show up, no stretch, and pop off. I don't think 34-year-old Cam Heyward's doing that anymore, is he?
Hell no. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, no stretch and pop off. He asking to tear some shit. I'm sorry for my language, but
that's how you tore your groin off, probably if you showed up and popped off. So,
oh my gosh, hopefully he was kidding. Who still drinks Mountain Dew? I haven't had it.
Listen, the occasional Mountain Dew is good. I don't care what anyone says. I don't drink them a lot, but the occasional one is great.
Okay, whatever you got to say.
It is. It's good.
At least he's going to OTAs, but no stretch and pop off. That worries me.
You never had a teammate though who could just kind of show up and do it?
Yeah, I've had teammates that do it, but they still freaking stretch. That the not stretch is wild to me. But there's plenty of guys around the league. I remember hearing about Calvin Johnson going up to the combine saying he wasn't going to run or anything, and he didn't have cleats. And then someone gave him a pair of cleats, and he just ran his 40 time. But yeah, that's just wild to me.
Well, I think it's an age thing too. Like, how old's DJ Moore? I mean, he's 26. Well, of course he can do that at 26. When he's 30, he will not be able to do that. Or the body just does not allow you to do it. 26, he could probably get away with it.
26. I have never thought I don't need to stretch. That's how you tear some stuff. I need to look at his injury history.
You're a bigger guy, so I understand you need to definitely be more careful about it. He's an athlete, man. He just runs. He's a great athlete. He's going to be fine. Not saying you're not a great athlete. Sorry, that kind of came off mean. I will say that it did.
Yeah, screw you.
You're
I'm an athlete.
What I mean. He's a skill guy. He can get away with this.
I'm a skill guy. Big skill.
Well, you are. The big fundamental, like basketball. All right, yeah. I got to think too on the Ravens, and I have to admit something after I ask you this, but the Ravens eat 30 to 60 Uncrustables daily as a team. What's the most popular snack in the Steeler locker room?
Most popular snack. We have that. What's the one popcorn? We have the Skinny Pop, and every day, Alex Highsmith is just munching on some Skinny Pop in the back of the room. I'd say other
Skinny Pop's
snacks,
good,
man. Skinny Pop's great.
Yeah, good.
There are a lot of Uncrustables. I'll have those like every now and then, but 30 to 60 a day is wild. That means everybody is crushing one.
I've never had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, so I don't really get it. I don't get it. They're gross. Jelly, ew. I had a bad experience with peanut butter, so it's not. Yeah, I don't get it. I really.
Would you like to explain your?
There's no need to explain the bad experience with peanut butter. It just was a bad experience. Alcohol may have been involved, and yeah, I have not really gone near peanut butter since a whole lot.
Was there a dog involved?
No. Moving on. All right. No, there was not a dog involved. No. All right. Let's get a little not just football here. NBA topics. The Clippers introduced The Wall, a fan section for their new arena. Fans cannot cheer for opposing teams, cannot wear opponent gear. Tickets can only be resold in Clippers Marketplace. A season on The Wall ranges from $5,000 to $25,000. Do you think the Steelers will ever do anything like this?
I don't even understand it. Like
They don't want
it doesn't
opposing
make sense
teams
to
coming
me.
into their stadium. I mean, you should understand this because the Steelers do this to every opposing team. I can understand why you don't want your fan base selling tickets outside of the fan base.
LA, it's hard because like the Clippers aren't even like there's two teams in LA, so they're always dealing with this, you know, another team in their vicinity, and I doubt this lasts.
Well, let
I
me ask you
doubt
this.
it lasts.
In LA, take all the teams there, college included. Where do the Clippers rank?
Yes,
They're like 10th or 12th most important team in that city. I
you
mean,
got Lakers, you got Dodgers,
Chargers
um,
and Rams are higher than them.
Chargers and Rams. You got
USC,
you got UCLA,
the Kings, the LA Kings, the hockey team.
Oh wow!
At this point, the question is who's more important, the Angels or the Clippers? They're both like the same exact team, man. Tucker saying the Sparks, by the way, too, or more. Anyway, Pascal Siakam traded to the Pacers for 3 first-round picks. Grade the trade, Cam.
Give it a C plus.
C plus. You clearly looked into this trade, huh?
C plus. Yeah. You look at this, you look at the trade, and I just think, actually, give it a B. I give it a B for the Pacers. This promotes them and puts them in. They have somebody else besides Halliburton, and I think it definitely gives them more force going into the playoffs. But I don't know what the Raps are going to do from here on out.
The thing I'll say, though, is you got to be happy for at least Pacer fans. I mean, they're 23-17, and they're trying. And I saw somebody say this the other day. They're not necessarily a free agent destination, right? So, like, you got to trade to acquire the players. And if you figure maybe if Siakam and Halliburton play together and play well, maybe they'll want to stay together, right?
What do you mean? Pawnee, Indiana is where everybody wants to go.
Oh, God. All right. Parks and Rec. Great show, though. Great show.
Great show. Great show.
All right, you're obviously a LeBron guy, so you're rooting for the Lakers. Who would you like to see the Lakers go after at the deadline?
They could go Zach LaVine.
Man, I don't think he helps, though. I don't think he helps.
I'd say go get some guys from the Bulls, some other guys from the Bulls. Go get DeMar DeRozan and man, why am I blanking on my guy? Oh man, the guy who was with the Lakers, and plays for the Bulls.
Oh, Caruso, is he still there?
Caruso, yes, go get Caruso. Those two that'd be a nice little thing right there.
I'd say this Caruso and Reeves together, man. There you go, man. That's quite the backcourt there.
No comment.
All right, last thing here. I saw a thing that said Jimmy Butler is trying to create a country album, but he's not. He's got to write 200 songs before he does it. Would you buy Jimmy Butler's country album?
Nah.
No?
I'm good on buying that.
Is it because you're not a country guy, or is it because Jimmy Butler's doing it?
I'm not a country guy.
Okay.
Would you buy a Cam Heyward classical album?
I would probably buy it. Yeah, I mean, I support my friends. I would buy it. I'd download it, listen to it. I'd
give my friends.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to be having that many great sales, but if you have 5 sales, I'll be one of the 5 sales.
Actually, I wouldn't even have a classic album. I think I'd be like one of those DJs like Metro Boomin, DJ Khaled, and I just get people to jump on my songs, and my beats would be fire.
I mean, that's genius, in my opinion. They've figured it out. DJ Khaled in particular has figured it out. He gets an all-star team to perform a song for him, and then he just yells, "We the best," and it seems to work out pretty well for him. So maybe you should do that. You're going to retire this year, so podcasting and producing is what your future looks like.
Looks like it. Looking forward to it. And guess what? You get to look forward to.
What's that?
The next episode of Not Just Football next week. So we'll see you next week. Like and subscribe. It's been a great episode. See ya.